Hey everyone, Al DeMarco here, General Manager at DeMarcoSports.com, and this is going to be your Friday video report. 25-7-1 with the college comp plays over the past 3+ weeks. 25-7-1. 2-1-1 yesterday, as I gave you winners on North Carolina and Oregon, pushed with the play with Arizona, and lost with Kentucky. Not bad. And just like yesterday, I'm going to, once again, give you my 4 best complimentary plays and then run down the entire Friday tournament card for you and give you my thoughts on every single game. That's good news. The bad news is that yesterday, for the 3rd straight day, I lost my best bet at DeMarcoSports.com in college hoops, which frankly sucks. Because to do so well with the complimentary plays and then lose the best bet, well, again, that sucks. But those are how the cookie crumbles sometimes in basketball and in gambling. And as I've always said since the days that I had my nationwide radio show, there are no guarantees in gambling. You can look it up in the dictionary if people still have dictionaries and even use them. Guaranteed and gambling are not on the same page. But the sun did rise in the east today, and it will set in the west, and today is another day. So with that being said, let's get busy. By the way, if you have never taken advantage of the 2-day free all access pass, and magically it will appear at the bottom of the page, why not? Because you get all the plays of all the handicappers for free for 2 days, and you pick the 2 days. You want today, and you want Saturday, or next Thursday. You make the choice. They're yours. You get my plays, all the plays of the 10, 11, 12 handicappers that have plays today, absolutely free. And when I say free, I mean it. Not like those dinosaurs, those relics from the 1980s that are still sitting in their basements screaming, get all the plays, absolutely free, absolutely free. Yeah, absolutely free for those guys means call them, the phone call is free, but then they bang your credit card for $500 to $2,000. Those guys are still in business. It blows my mind that there are suckers out there that still fall for that BS. Suckers born every minute, right? I don't know. I don't know why guys would ever fall for that. But anyway, you get it for free. No strings attached. Make the choice. If you've never done it before, over at DeMarcoSports.com. Let's get with it. I'm going to run these in reverse chronological order. Let's start with the game between St. Mary's and Grand Canyon. They used to be called the Antelopes. Now they're just the Lopes. Damned if I know why. Anyway, the game is being played in Spokane. St. Mary's on a 23-2 roll. The only 2 losses in that stretch, Gonzaga in their home finale and Missouri State. I don't know how they lost to Missouri State. You got me. But anyway, listen. Grand Canyon's a good team. They won the WAC. They beat San Francisco early in the season by 4 points. They beat San Diego State early in the season by 6 points. They lost only by 7 to South Carolina. But St. Mary's is a better team. A more physical team. Of course, they're going to slow down the Temple, but a very good shooting team as well. Very strong defensive team. I think number 2 in the nation in points allowed at about 59 points a game. Also a very good defensive team in terms of limiting opponents to about 40% from the field, which is a top 10 shooting defense. They're also very strong on the boards. I think a plus 11 or 12 rebounding margin for the Gales. Now, a lot of people will look at this and say, oh, that's one of those popular 5-12 seed matchups. And, you know, that 12 seed has this mythical standing. By the way, after Gonzaga, which I told you, I thought Gonzaga would take care of business against McNeese State. I had seen McNeese State many times this season, and you saw how McNeese State, a popular 12-seed pick last night, got destroyed. The 12 seeds are 3-14 over the past few years. 3-14. I think St. Mary's is underpriced tonight at 5.5. Okay, another complimentary play today, and again, I'm going to run you the complimentary plays first here. Let's see, trying to run these in reverse chronological order again for you. I'm going to go with Duke, minus the 12. This game is at 7:10 Eastern Time at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn over Vermont. Yes, the Catamounts come in here. Their 3rd straight dance appearance. They've won 10 straight games. They're 28-6. Every year, it seems, everybody likes to talk about Vermont being a popular first-round upset dandy darling. When's the last time Vermont actually won a first-round game? They're 2-9 in their all-time dance appearances. This is a team that lost to Virginia Tech this year, got hammered by 22 points. This is a team that has a couple of key injuries as well. One of their starting forwards, Matt Verato, I think is his name, did not play the last 4 games because of a shoulder injury. He averages a little over 9 points a game. Listen, you stack up the talent between these two teams, and obviously Duke is far superior. Duke also has a huge size advantage as well. Now, does Duke play up to its potential game in, game out? No, it does not. But how Duke is only 12 as opposed to 17 against Vermont, I think is just one of those public perception issues. Again, because everybody thinks the Catamounts are always this team that is going to play so well in its first round. You know, Vermont's bigs along the front line, 6'8", they max out at. I mean, Duke's got a big front line. They go 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot. I got to go with the Blue Devils here, guys. Next play, I'm going to go with New Mexico out of the Mountain West Conference. Now, the Mountain West Conference, which I touted quite a bit, did not do well yesterday. BYU did not serve me well yesterday. Boise State did not show up in this tournament yesterday. Nevada, oh my God. Somebody on the YouTube channel, which you can always comment on. As a matter of fact, leave your picks so everybody else can comment on them as well. Wrote in yesterday, I think it was Frank, wrote in and said Nevada was looking really good and early in the second half. And I said, don't jinx the Wolfpack. And then an epic collapse, up by 17, and they lose that game. Colorado State, also a loser yesterday. You have 2 more Mountain West teams going today, I think, right? Utah State, and also the game I'm going to talk about here, New Mexico. Well, New Mexico won the postseason tournament. They're playing at the FedEx Forum today in Memphis. What I like about New Mexico is they have so many different ways to beat you, and they've got 4 guys in their starting lineup that are excellent. They've got Jaleen House, one of their starting guards, who averages a little over 16 points a game. They've got Jamal Mashburn Jr., who, of course, his father had a long, lengthy NBA career, especially with the Mavericks, who averages almost 14.5 points a game. They've got their point guard, Donovan Dent, who averages 14 points and almost 6 assists a game. And they've got the freshman, J.T. Toppin, who averages a little over 12 points and 9 rebounds a game. They're number 21 in the country in terms of points per game, a little over 81 a game. Now, you got a Clemson team that won at Alabama, won at North Carolina, won at Pittsburgh, won at Florida State. But you also got a Clemson team that lost 3 of its last 4 after that 6-1 run in February. You lost at Notre Dame. You lost at Wake Forest in your final 2 road games. Then you got destroyed by Boston College in the ACC tournament in your second-round debut, losing by 21 points. So I like New Mexico minus the 2.5 points in this one. And then your last complimentary play is the early game. It's going to be Florida Atlantic minus the 4. I know Florida Atlantic's record is not as good as it was a year ago, but remember, they're playing in a tougher conference this season in the AAC, right? But this is a team that beat Arizona. People forget that. They beat Arizona. I think it was in double overtime. They beat Texas A&M. They beat Virginia Tech. They beat Charleston. They beat Butler. Okay, they lost to Illinois. They lost to North. But, you know, they played a damn tough non-conference schedule. Northwestern played a tough schedule, too, as a member of the Big Ten. But they lost 3 of their last 4 games. They're 4-7 in road games this year. And I realize this one at the Barclays Center, so it's a road game for both teams. But Florida Atlantic is a battle-tested team that has March Madness experience, and they're a 4-point favorite, and I think Florida Atlantic, with more depth, pulls this one off. So how do I rate these complimentary plays today in terms of strength? Duke would be number 1, with St. Mary's right behind them, number 2. New Mexico, number 3. Florida Atlantic, number 4. Duke, St. Mary's, New Mexico, and then Florida Atlantic. And I'll tell you what, Duke and St. Mary's are like right there at the top. So with that being said, let's run down all the other games here for you. Wisconsin's 5.5 point favorite today. against James Madison. You tell me which Wisconsin team we are getting today. Is it the Wisconsin team that lost 8 out of 11 after a 16-4 start? Is it the Wisconsin team that looks so good in the 4 games in 4 days stretch, upsetting Purdue as well? Damned if I know. I don't know. At this game at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, I'll tell you one thing, James Madison is not going to be intimidated. A James Madison team that started the season by knocking off Michigan State and East Lansing. A James Madison team then, the very next game of the season, number 2, went to Kent and snapped the Golden Flashes' 23-game home winning streak with a double overtime win. A team that comes into the postseason with 13 straight wins. A team that has 8 players in the regular rotation that hit at over 35% from three-point range. And remember, Wisconsin is not a good perimeter defensive team. They allow opponents to hit at over 37% from three-point land. And Wisconsin has some nagging injuries. They're starting forward, Tyler Wall. Knee issues in the Big Ten tournament limited him to 3.8 points and 1.7 rebounds. He averaged 10.8 and 5.4 during the regular season. John Blackwell suffered an ankle injury in one of the games, and in the final 3 games of the tournament, he was 1 for 14 from the field. It's a narrow line, 5.5 point. But I'm telling you what, I like James Madison in that spot. Purdue is 27 over Grambling State. I've never been a fan of the Boilermakers, but I guess I'd go with Purdue. I just don't like the game. Florida, virtual pick'em against Colorado. Colorado played miserably, but managed to advance. Florida lost its big man in the SEC tournament game against Auburn, so the rebounding's not going to be strong. It's a tough game. I mean, on paper, Florida is the better team, and the Gators played good ball down the stretch. They played in a better conference too. I think Florida wins, but you know that opinion and $5 will get you something in Starbucks. Utah State knocked out by San Diego State in the Mountain West Conference on Friday in the semifinals. But this is a 27-16 that won the 27-16 that won the regular season championship in the Mountain West. This game is in Indianapolis. TCU 9-19 in the Big 12, but they lost 5 of their final 8 games, including losses at home to Central Florida and Baylor, and I think Central Florida and Baylor. I was going to say Texas Tech, but I don't think so. I mean, they play fast. They force about 15 turnovers a game, but I like Utah State plus the points in that one. Houston is a 24-point favorite at the FedEx Forum in Memphis against Longwood. Yeah, I'll take Houston. Here's an interesting game. So Colgate is a 14-point underdog against Baylor. They're the Patriot League champs. This is their 5th straight dance appearance. But you look at their non-conference schedule. They lost to Syracuse by 4, Yale by 18, Harvard by 7, Arizona drilled them by 27, Illinois drilled them by 17. Now, you got a Baylor team that's number 1 in the nation in three-point shooting percentage. They average about 9 triples a game. They've got a big guy in the center, Missy, I believe is his last name, who averages 11 points and 6 rebounds a game. He's their freshman center. But they were knocked out in the Big 12 tournament by Iowa State, losing by 14. They were 4-5 on the Big 12 road. And their 6th man, Langston Love, is out for the season. He was hurt late in February. You know, he is their best three-point shooter at about 48%, and he averages 11 points a game. He is a key contributor for the Bears. 14-point spread. Baylor is the better team. I will make a nod in their favor, but it could be a close game. Texas A&M and Nebraska. I took Texas A&M on my bracket. I'll still back the Aggies today. I like the way Texas A&M in the second half of the season, and really it was from February on. You know, early in the season, this was a grinded-out team that battled for every single possession, and they loved to win 57-55. They loosened up the reins offensively, and you saw how their scores escalated. Instead of averaging in the high 50s, they suddenly averaged in the high 70s as the season progressed, and it helped them certainly in the SEC tournament, pulling the upset of Kentucky along the way. Nebraska is going to play a similar style. Nebraska is a little better shooting team, but I will give Texas A&M the nod here as well. Auburn is a 13-point favorite at Spokane. This is a team that's won 6 straight and 11 out of 14. I like the Tigers in this spot. Listen, Yale pulled off the big upset in the Ivy League tournament, and they have the advantage having played in Spokane earlier this year, losing by 15 to Gonzaga, but in the second game of the season. But Auburn is by far the superior team here, and I love Bruce Pearl's team in this spot. I thought about making them one of the official complimentary plays, but they would be like right on the edge of that top 4. Alabama and College of Charleston, 2 similar teams. They both score well, both offensive juggernauts. Both can shoot the 3, although College of Charleston is a much more consistent team from outside. The difference is College of Charleston gets much more from its bench, averaging nearly 30 points a game. The key in this contest is whether or not Alabama wants to play defense. That is really the downfall for the Crimson Tide this season. Great stat here. Since February 18th, according to Bart Tovik, which is a great statistical site, similar to KenPom, but not quite as detailed in terms of what I use for handicapping. But since February 18th, a stretch where Alabama went 3-4 straight up, they have the 3rd worst defense of any of the dance teams, only better than Long Beach, Howard, and Stetson. Is that company you want to keep when you just handed your head coach, Nate Oates, $1 zillion for a contract extension? No. So, this is a game I would probably lean toward College of Charleston plus the points because they're not going to be intimidated, having won 12 in a row. But, I looked at the total, and I think the total, although 173 points, I mean, boy, that's a big effing number. It's a stay-away game for me because you just don't know which Alabama team you're going to get here. So that is a game I'd absolutely stay away. You have San Diego State minus 7 points. I mean, this is a veteran-oriented team that certainly knows how to play in the dance, right? You've got a UAB team that lost 5 in a row won 5 in a row to close, beating Temple twice, big deal, SMU, Wichita State, and South Florida. The only good win was against South Florida. This is a team that lost by 21 points to McNeese State and by 19 to Arizona State earlier in the season in non-conference play. I'm taking San Diego State. So, those are your breakdowns for all the other games today. Go forth, do well, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Good luck, everybody.